Okay, cross fingers it works. Had a bit of trouble with OBS. It's been a while. Oh, that's bright. Hey! That looks like it's working. Stream is healthy. Great. But the camera is all messed up. Ah, that's something I've forgotten. Oh no, I don't want to update that as well. So I updated OBS and Stream Elements and oh, look, now it's good. But now the camera wants to update as well, and I'm just not gonna. Whoa! That's not what we wanted. Yeah, no, just checking for anything incriminating in my room after that flash. Quiet computer, what are all these notifications? Anyway, so, yeah, I'm really tired. Hi, tired, I'm dad, or something. Gosh, so what was the last thing I uploaded? Would have been the thing where I was wearing the cyber wig, and I was going out to a friend's birthday dinner / gig, and I only stayed for the dinner. And good thing too, because yeah, I wore that wig for 3.5 hours, and that was too much for my head. And you know, got an Uber home, almost threw up in the dude's car, but I managed to hang on. And then put the little floof to bed after he was super excited to see me. And then by the time I was back in my room, that's when I threw up. Goodbye $13 chips. Gosh, the price of the chips, and you know, I'm pretty sure my local pub does better than that. But anyway, yeah. And then I spent the whole weekend after that, because that was a Friday night, so then I spent the whole weekend mostly in bed if I wasn't looking after the floof. A lot of nausea, headaches, bit of dizziness, lightheaded, like sort of the low blood pressure sort of dizziness, I think. And yeah, it took a while for the headaches to chill. I still have a bit of nausea now and then, and I still have a bit of the lightheadedness. And yesterday when I tried to do some art, I don't know if this is, hopefully the sound is okay. How do I check that from here? Oh, sound is okay. Oh yay, there you go. Yesterday afternoon I tried to do some art. I don't know if it was because I did a longer art session than I meant to or what, but that brought back the nausea. And I feel like the close-up stuff I'm not dealing with too well at the moment, and I think maybe when I was doing the art I left my glasses on the whole time, which when I'm working in that space between what I can and can't see without them, it was a bit much. And then like with the nausea already, and I'm sort of like, with those wigs, it's like I think it's called an external compression headache. The thing is, once you take off the source of external compression, it's supposed to resolve within an hour or two. And I was messed up for the whole weekend, and so I was thinking back, well, I did have a bit of digestive issue leading up to it, but in the complete opposite direction. You don't need details. I don't know, I just wonder if, like, maybe I was actually sick, or if it really was wearing the wig for too long. I don't know why, and I did consider seeing a doctor, but I've gotten better. So, yeah, and today I managed to hang on and not have a nap. I didn't have any naps today, and I actually hung out with the Art Society, and I turn up and they're like, oh, aren't you a bit too young to be here? is, yeah, I'm definitely at least the youngest. I think I am the youngest, but definitely the youngest looking. And yeah, that's kind of fun. So I don't really know what to talk about. Like, that's just an update, and sorry, I've gotten distracted by Facebook notifications that I will deal with later. What else has happened in the meantime? Oh, I did that interview with Femme Metal. I talked to the editor, and at some point I will record a readout, probably. But how long that's going to take, because I've been feeling off, I've been like, today's not the day. So eventually, if you wait long enough, I'll read out my interview. Because it's long. You know, when he asked me for the interview, I did warn him that I can go on forever, and I said, do you want to put a word limit on for me? Otherwise I'll go on forever. And he said, no, go for it. So yeah, it's a long interview. And it covers a lot of different things. So it was a fun one. And then at the end of it, I linked the chicken nugget video that I did, which will terrorize some people who came to the website for women in metal and end up with me as a chicken nugget. Because I just can't help myself, can I? Oh man. No, one of the things that came up, so Friday night, you know, I only went to the dinner part and just talking to people. And so there's one dude in particular I was talking to who was like a friend of a friend. And then also at the art thing today, talking to people like who don't know anything about me. So, you know, they ask questions and then I sort of do, oh, and I do this and blah, blah, blah. And I guess I'm late to the party, but it turns out I know. I probably, I mean, I feel like I've just discovered it, even if it's not the case, but it turns out I'm actually an interesting person. Which should be obvious to me if I have a YouTube audience who will watch all the random shit that I do. But yeah, no, it's just like watching their reactions, because like, I can see comments on YouTube, but I don't see people's reactions in real time, and it's just like, you know, today was the art thing, and so, you know, do you paint? What do you paint? Blah, blah. And then, you know, mentioning actually I do more music. By the way, music, where's my Stream Elements bot? Where's my Stream Elements bot that's supposed to shill my stuff? Well, I will shill my stuff myself. My new song, Fade. Get on it. Hey, why isn't this... Hello? Time attack. Oh, why isn't my thing... Hang on, I'll see if I can set this up so that it does the, I've got it set on blog mode, not on... Is it working now? Yeah, it looks like the audio is working now. Sorry, I'm just gonna tap the thing. Yes, okay. So what was I saying with the audio kinda... Yeah, no, it's been a while since I did a live stream, so... It's working? Yay, okay. So, time attack. Related when I'm trying to set my alarm for 9 hours each day, but if I wake up after 6 hours, I'll stay up instead of sleeping in again. Maybe that'll work. Something must work, right? So what helped me the most with my sleep was getting a puppy. And he's a snow dog. So, I can't, like, you know, he's not supposed to walk over 26 degrees, is what the breeder said. I mean, you shouldn't walk any dog when it's really hot, but I'm a bit more conscious of the fact that he's a snow dog, and I hate warm weather as well, so it's an excuse to. Anyway, no, it's summer at the moment in Sydney, and we've had some really hot days, and some days it's gotten hot like early, so I've had to wake up really early, and then he likes his routines. So yeah, the latest that I tend to wake up at the moment is 7:30 in the morning. And the earliest that I've woken up on purpose was probably like 5:30. And because I'm up like 7:30, oh my god. I used to sleep in a lot with my soul dog, Hopi. And, you know, because he sort of adapted to my routine, whereas this dog is sort of forcing me to just conform to a more normal way of living. And so yeah, I end up going to bed I almost always make it to bed before midnight, and if not, it's like a few minutes past midnight. It's rare that I stay up any later than that at the moment. Yeah, but I think the way that I'm looking after current Floof is probably a bit over the top because of the traumatic shit of looking after my soul dog. Bit of ash in that. Still wearing this every day. Yeah, so I think some of that traumatic whatever is why that's working. Whereas in the past, trying to get up early just didn't work. So, you know, trying to hack your own psychology sucks, but it's a thing. And probably not helpful to you. What was I rambling about? I don't even remember. I'm so tired. But yeah, before I was talking about being sick. Oh, the thing about being an interesting person. I don't know. Like, yeah, so at this art thing, like it's just a coffee meetup for the local art society, which I'm now a member of, and it's mostly people who are quite a bit older than me. So yeah, I'm a bit, you know, they were sort of shocked that I would join their club and hang out with them. But I guess because I'm not socially normal, I don't give a shit. I'm going to turn up if I feel like turning up. And yeah, telling me, oh, do you paint? Yeah, I paint. And then yeah, I do more music. Actually, like, you know, in the past I've been better known for the music stuff. Fade, my newest song. And then at some point, I think they were trying to, how it came up is they were asking, like, you know, I mentioned the metal and rah-rah kind of vocals. And I think they were like, oh, so is your painting, like, kind of related to your music? Which it isn't. Like, at the moment I'm just doing abstract stuff, and whatever comes out of me is what comes out of me. And then I mentioned, like, you know, yeah, I do the metal stuff, but I also do bonsai. Bonsai is like the opposite of heavy metal in a lot of ways, because instead of being all like rah-rah energy, it's very slow and zen and, you know, living things instead of, I guess, death growls. And that surprised them as well. And it's sort of like, the more, like, you know, I'm just mentioning things that I happen to do, and people are like, wow, like, super into it and getting, like, very curious about me, and yeah. And so then I'm like, shit, I've managed to become an interesting person. Or maybe I was always interesting, because I remember also in high school, people saying how unique I was and, you know, not giving a shit about peer pressure and all that. And I never thought much of it, because it's just how I am. It's just what I do. I mean, I guess there's the schizoid personality disorder thing. Odd and eccentric. Cluster A disorder, so it makes sense. Finally, all the pieces, it makes sense that I would have been like that if I've had this disorder that long. But to me, it's just like, I just do my own thing. And what I don't understand is like, okay, I'm interesting, but if people are into that, why do they waste their time being so boring? You can be interesting too, just stop being boring. It's like, it reminds me of, I think I got the Linkin Park Reanimation CD in high school. And, you know, we were allowed to bring CDs to computer class, so we could do computer. I think it's called computer studies back then. We were allowed to listen to CDs on the computer on our headphones while we were working, and I brought that in, and my friends were like, "Oh, you always have such cool CDs." I'm just like, what CDs are you like? If you think this is a cool CD, why don't you buy it? Why are you buying boring CDs? It doesn't make any sense. Stop being boring. Oh, Mad Simple, you're never boring. You're strange in your own way. I haven't replied to the thing on Patreon yet. Is that near West Sydney? What even was that conversation? Oh, the Newtown comment. Newtown is like inner west. There is Sydney and there's a lot of west. So there's like inner west, west, I guess greater western Sydney. Time Attack. I met up with a furry bowling group 3 weeks ago. I'm not one myself, but they're all kind of weird people, so it was definitely interesting. Didn't feel as weird as I expected it to be beforehand. I mean, they're kind of like, you know, when you go to a theme park and there's performers in costumes, those big suits, except that they do it of their own free will instead of having to be paid to do it. I guess it depends on what area of the furry community you end up finding. Yeah. But furry bowling. Okay. You live somewhere a bit more interesting than I do. I'm usually the weird one out and about. But yeah, furries, I don't know, I don't think furries would be schizoids. I think it's probably, if there was a disorder that was going to go for that, I would guess more likely autism, because you have to be really into it. Have you seen how they make those suits? Like, it's a full-on process, especially to get them fitted properly to your body if you're going to get, like, a decent one instead of a piece of garbage. Furries love bowling everywhere. Okay. I suppose they wouldn't have those big gloves on. They'd have to take them off and use their fingers, right? Unless they just sort of, like, clutch them between their gloves. Instead of just... I don't know. I've never thought about the logistics of furries bowling before. Hey, weird stuff happens on these live streams. You never know what topic's going to come up. Yeah. And I'm tired enough that you can just chuck something at me and I'll be like, ah. Oh, man. Yeah. Oh. What did I do yesterday? Oh, there was a storm yesterday. That's why I didn't brush Triton yesterday, because I had to give him a bone just to... Like, he's pretty good with the storms, but when they're the really big ones, then he's, like, not too keen on that sound. So I'm just like, just chuck him a bone, and then he forgot about it. Had a great time chewing for ages. Long enough for the storm to pass. We didn't get any hail here. Apparently there was hail elsewhere. My head still hurts. So yeah, 3.5 hours. I really shouldn't have gone out with the wig on for that long. I should have just like started wearing them at home to train my head. And I'm sure I can get used to it, because like when I've had dreads put in, you know, the synth dreads, like they kind of pull on your hair, and you can get, like even with putting a ponytail up, you can get external compression headaches. And I did that, you know, long time ago. If you had long hair in school, you had to tie it up. Conservative Catholic girls' school. Anyway, but there were also times in high school where I had not quite shaved my head, but had very short hair. Yeah, wow, I just can't choose an appearance. But anyway, no, point being, when I had the dreads, like I had some quite heavy ones at times. I think YouTube might have missed out on a lot of that, because that was that period of time where I was not doing much vlogs and I was more focusing on my music, I guess. But you know, it's on social media. It'll be on like Rainbow Death Ray probably, pictures of me doing that. Maybe the Rainbow Death Ray YouTube, though I don't know that we posted too much there. But yeah, I got used to that, so I just need to wear the wigs more often, but not do it all at once. I mean, what an idiot, but I couldn't help myself, could I? And my aunt got into the local galleries local artist showcase, so I'm going to the opening of that, and I'm planning to dress up, and I kind of want to wear my red wig, but I'm also like, maybe I shouldn't. But on the other hand, I mean, it's only for 2 hours, and it's not an hour away, like the other thing. You know, and so, like, if I really get into trouble, I can always just go home early. So I go in, eat all the food, then look at the art, and then, yeah, when I'm tired, just go home. But I do plan to cause a scene. I mean, you know, I just tell people it's performance art. I don't know, how does performance art work, though? Like, I've never actually looked into that. Do you just turn up somewhere and do something weird, or does it always have to be in some kind of contrived setting? Like, I know at art school, people would just start screaming in the classroom, which is me. When I did my asexuality EP and we had to do the work in progress presentation, which I made a YouTube video that I played to them, and then there's the work in progress music, and I think the YouTube version you can only hear the backing track, but I actually performed that in class in an echoey room without a microphone, screaming at my class, and people from down the hall popping their head in like, what the fuck is going on there? And the class sitting there like, holy shit, and then the professor's like, so does anyone want to criticize after that? But, where was I going with? That's me screaming at art school. And I think I posted the one where I was like sewing the toy together, and I actually upset some of my classmates with that. Because I hung one of the dolls. I think the extended cut is on Patreon somewhere. And, yeah, the class being pretty unhappy with it. The Xena scream. I don't want to wake up the dog. You know, I only have a certain amount of time where he's going to leave me alone, so let's not. I used to do the Xena scream when I was a kid, though. You know, in the 90s. Yeah. Is that one of my role models? And I don't think I would have really realized at the time that she was such a dark character. I was just like, oh, cool. But she was definitely more fun than Buffy. I always, like, you know, I keep going for these spin-off characters. There's always the main character, so like Hercules and Buffy. They're the main characters who are all about fighting for good and blah, blah, blah. But then there's the spin-off characters, which is Xena and Angel, and they're the ones that I'm into. They're the ones with the sort of tortured past, looking for redemption. Do you happen to watch Dreg? He has a second channel where he basically constantly tells people that they need to do art now. I have no idea who that is. Oh, Whisper the Xena Screen, I missed one. Whisper the Xena. It's not really the Xena Scream then. I mean, I know they talk about whisper screams in metal, but no, I have no idea. I've never heard of J-Reg. I don't really watch art YouTube. Like occasionally I've watched a tutorial on a thing, but for the most part I don't. I watch more like documentary type stuff, I think. So I don't watch the sort of stuff that I make myself. Oh look, water. I need some water. Oh, he's definitely mentally ill. Does politics get to me is basically sometimes more serious things. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us online are mentally ill. That's why we're online instead of having lives. But yeah, no, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an artist. And then people were like, you only get rich and famous when you're dead. And I'm like, well, they made it sound like that's what you should want to be. But I think because I'm like at that level of mental illness where I kind of have to make art and have to make music. Steve, hi all. Talk about extremes, Buffy to Hercules. No, Buffy and Hercules are the same because they're both fighting evil. They're the good guys. I mean, like, Buffy's sometimes a bit darker, but if you contrast their spin-off shows, so you've got Xena and Angel, they're the tortured characters. They're the ones I like. But yeah, no, with art, it's kind of like, telling a kid, oh, you only get rich and famous when you're dead, if you pursue that. But, like, if you're an accountant, you only get rich. And these days, with automation taking over, are we going to need accountants in the future? Lawyers are already having a lot of their work taken over by automation. Automation is a much more accurate term than AI. I hate that everything is now labeled AI when it's often just automation or regular computing. Computers looking for patterns. And then, like, the chat AI is just, like, this garbage that's been marketed and hyped too much. And, I mean, some of it's better than others, but, talk about extremes. Wait, hang on, I'm confused. Can you rephrase? Or an artist. Sometimes also, if I've gone on a tangent and it takes a while for your message to get through the lag, I can forget, like, I don't necessarily know what you're responding to. I'm sure I said it on the lowest latency. I did, ultra low latency, but I'm guessing it's still enough latency to be annoying. My Stream Elements bot still hasn't turned up. Is that because I haven't streamed in a while and it's like, oh shit, what am I doing? Where is the thing that does the Stream Elements? Oh, there it is. I mean... Oh. The bot is in your chat. It should be here. Where are you, you stupid bot? Oh, well. All he does is shill my merch anyway. What was I talking about? It doesn't matter. I'm tired. Throw distractions at me and I will just ramble. I have a lot of snacks. Onion rings. They're okay. They're not the usual onion rings that I would go for. I didn't even know Thins made onion rings. But did I mention a while back my doctor got concerned about my low blood pressure for the first time ever. Like, I've had low blood pressure for ages, but usually she says it's healthy. But then the last time I saw her, I was getting my referral for the psychologist. It's a new year, so I can get my 10 Medicare subsidized psychology sessions, which don't cover the whole session, but whatever, it's a really flawed system and they wonder why people are so messed up. Anyway, yeah, had to see my GP and get the referral, and then I can't remember why. I think I mentioned something about hay fever, because my dad was concerned about my use of hay fever meds. And then for some reason she checked my blood pressure and then was like, it's low, you'll probably feel better if you can get that blood pressure up a bit more, and it'll help with the mental health and the energy and all that. So I'm supposed to snack more. And I guess, like, low blood pressure, they say have a bit more salt. The opposite to... I should have said good morning. It's 8:42 p.m. here in Sydney. So good whatever. Is it really a good... Is any morning good? Kind of seems that some people who care about being stereotypically successful, making money and stuff, they enjoy watching art but hate the idea of doing art themselves. I think some people are too scared to try. It does take a while to build skill, and in the early days of learning a new skill, you tend to suck. And then when you compare how much you suck versus how much someone who's experienced can do, it can be demoralizing, and I think some people give up, and they don't want to make a fool of themselves by producing something that's crap. Or they continually put it off, they make excuses, and so... Sometimes it's just easier to vicariously live through someone else, I think. 9:42 in the morning, we're on the opposite sides of the planet. Yeah. But hey, I need someone to buy my art, right? My only hope at a career probably is to get into the art scene, especially since I have no desire to niche down on YouTube, which is how you get successful on YouTube. But yeah, so I got onion rings because they're a bit salty. Because I did buy like chocolates when she said to snack, and I haven't even opened this one. What is this? Cola Fizz? Terrifying. I will try it eventually. I'm nibbling away at those. But they're not salty, and I don't know that they're helping my blood pressure at all, and it's just an excuse to eat chocolate. And then the other thing I got today, because I felt like I wanted to get, so, you remember I got the freeze-dried fruits? I decided, yeah, I'm not too into the mango, and the peach one is okay, but a lot of the pieces have like this weird aftertaste, so I think it depends on the quality of the peach, whereas the strawberry ones with the little sugary stuff on it, I like them, and I went back to try and get some more today, and they didn't have strawberry, they just had like a shelf full of mango, pretty much, and I'm just like, where's me strawberry? So I went into another shop and found like these, it's like different fruit pieces, dried fruit. And so that's where I'm getting my sort of fruity fix, rather than something sugary. Because sometimes I buy like those sugary fruity lollies, and I better at least try and be healthy when I'm snacking. Yeah. But like low blood pressure, I think the reason my doctor thought of it is because my psychologist actually wrote to her. Because I often, like, I keep a diary for my psychologist and, chatting, whatever. I always, like, pretty much every day I'm tired. I think that's partly because of the situation I live in, because there's a lot of noise. And then also, with a pup, I am waking up earlier than I would rather. But yeah, I'm just always tired. And I think she said to my GP, there might be something physical. And I think that's why my GP is suddenly worrying about my blood pressure, because I've had like chronic low blood pressure. What if it is part of the reason that I'm always tired? Steve, do you always try and learn something new or carry on doing what you do because it's the safe option? I keep trying different things. I think because nothing. Well, I find it hard to stick to a hobby because things just don't catch me like that. I think it's, I don't know which Steve you are. It's not telling me which Steve you are. But yeah, with schizoids, a lot of schizoids seem to have anhedonia. And I like, even without being schizoid, the depression stuff, the anhedonia, it's hard to enjoy stuff. I probably just don't get the dopamine or something. So, see the diary. With the diary, I've had to try and make things shorter because I'm now only doing monthly sessions. So that's a lot of diary to catch up on. So actually, probably what I ramble on YouTube often is more detail than that diary. It's more like, what emotions am I feeling and what was happening around the time of that emotion. And then it just helps to keep up with my life. But yeah, no, I keep trying new things, I guess in the hopes that something will eventually stick, but it never does. And I think novelty is something that, like, when something's new, it's kind of interesting. And that keeps me going for a bit, but then after a while I know too much, and I have no desire to get super deep in the weeds, like some people do, so at that point I tend to lose interest. Just a thought, but actually J-Reg has reached out and had interviews with many smaller mental illness creators on their own respective channels, so you could probably have a conversation with him or something. The only interview that I've done with mental health is, what's that chick? She does a lot of schizoid stuff. I've forgotten what her name is. But the reason I agreed to do one with her is because I watched her content when I was figuring out some of the schizoid stuff. I don't think I would accept an interview from someone that I didn't really know what they're about, because that would just be weird. I'd like to know who's interviewing me, I guess. At least know something, and like I have no desire to watch that channel based on what you've described to me. I hope you proofread. Oh my god. Yeah. So I've tried a lot of different stuff in my life, and yeah, nothing really sticks. So I jump around a lot, and I guess that's how I end up being interesting because I've given so much of stuff a go. But it's kind of annoying because I'm a little bit good at a lot of things, and I'm not amazing at anything in particular. So, like if you were really good at one particular skill, it's kind of obvious that you should follow that. Or you can do something with that in your life. I mean, I guess the closest I ever got was maths, but I was never into it enough to go really deep. Like when I went to uni, people were like, oh, maths is better in uni. I went to uni, it turns out it's all lies. It's still like, why am I here? Oh my god. You can't turn in a diary with typos. It's fine. You can't manipulate me like that. And it's not that interesting. Don't worry, there's no deep, dark secrets in there. And there's some stuff that I haven't put in on certain themes that my psychologist has never asked me about, so I'm not inclined to put that in the diary either. So don't get too excited, you're not missing stuff. Yeah. What was I rambling about? Oh, my head just still does feel a bit like... Oh, now I'm thinking about the money that I've spent, I need to edit those goth unboxings for you guys, because there's too many. I think when I got the floof, I thought I would stop with the retail therapy. Like, it came up on my Facebook memories. I've got to stop retail therapy because I'm about to get a floof and he'll be expensive. And instead, what's happened is I now do retail therapy for both of us. It's a good thing I don't really have expenses in life. Anyway, where am I going? Oh, I'm kind of tempted to give this a go. I'm a bit reluctant to open stuff when the pup is in the bathroom because, he might hear it or smell it and get curious and come and bother me. And we've got about 40 minutes before I have to put him in bed. What else has been happening? So Friday, got sick, threw up. I haven't thrown up in a long time. How do you know if your boredom threshold is to do with the illness or more to do with you being you all the time in life? Look, so I have a personality disorder, which means it's really deep-seated, right? So it kind of is me at this point. How do you separate me from the disorder anymore? But it's not like I am not mentally healthy. So this isn't how I'm meant to be. And I do think that not being able to enjoy things properly, I do think it affects me getting bored with stuff. Because, like, a regular person would have an achievement and they get a dopamine hit and be like, oh, I'll do more of that. And I have achievements and I'm like, well, shit, hey, that was an anticlimax, wasn't it? I was just surprised though, because he's likely the biggest mental-related art online creator in existence. Okay, like, I'm really detached from a lot of YouTube culture, and I'm pretty detached from a lot of mainstream culture as well. So there's a lot that I don't know, and like, yeah, I'm on YouTube, but I make videos. Doesn't mean I watch a whole lot, and when I watch stuff, I tend to watch it in double speed, because I ain't got patience. Unless I'm watching stuff while I brush my dog, because the TV doesn't have double speed. But anyway, it's fine, because I'm focused on other things. So, I've been watching a lot of Dr. Grande analysing the psychology of criminals in the background. Also, fascinating horror. I never double speed that one because I like his music and I like his talking style and I think it adds to the atmosphere. That's one of the few creators that I don't double speed. There are some who talk fast that I don't double speed. And then there's like some tech things that come up. There's a bunch of different things, but I don't tend to watch like art creators. I'm not sure why. But I guess like I don't there's nothing that I'm curious about. Like, if I'm going to watch an art creator, it would be for a specific tutorial if I was struggling with something. I don't care about people talking about art. Dungeon Master, hello. Why are you so amazing? Because my brain is broken. I think that's why people find me interesting, because my brain is broken, which leads to me trying a whole bunch of different stuff and thinking in a different way. And, yeah, normal people like to be boring, apparently. But then they get all excited when I'm interesting, and I'm like, you could be interesting too, as I said earlier. Just stop being boring. I don't know, but like, we're a tribal species, and breaking from the norms and what the tribe expects, evolutionarily speaking, would have been dangerous. So, like, I get it on that instinctive level, intellectually, but I just do what I want to do, you know. I'm watching this stream in 4 times speed, and I feel like I want to lie down, but I can't really go to bed early because the dog will be like, why are you lying down? And then he'll jump all over me, and then I'll have to get up anyway. Would you say anhedonia helps you have a more objective view of the world, people, and events? I don't think it's just anhedonia. I think, like, you know, with schizoid personality disorder, you're very detached from emotions, and so subjectivity is less of a factor overall. But I don't think that means I'm 100% objective, because I still have biases, and I still view the world through the filter of my own experience. But there are some things, like, I'm probably less likely to be swayed by an emotional argument. I'll give you an example. So here in Australia, every now and then, debate pops up about us becoming a republic. Because, like, you know, sort of in a sort of technical, constitutional way, in theory, the British monarchy is also our monarchy. So, King Charles would be the King of Australia. Now, in practice, he has no power here. I think the Queen, you know, like, it used to not be the case, but the Queen came to Australia at some point, and I think some legislators in Adelaide, or I don't know, they tried to get her to sign legislation, and she's like, I can't, like, it's not in my power to do this, because we already changed things so that the British monarchy can't actually do anything. It's more symbolic. It's like in Japan, how they have an emperor, but he's more of a symbolic figure, I guess a religious figure, because it's all tied in with Shinto. Shinto being the sort of, maybe original religion of Japan. But Japan has sort of morphed Buddhism into its own thing as well. Trump wants to take over Australia. Trump says a lot of shit. And then people take him seriously, and it's just like, okay, I'll just sit back with me popcorn. Okay, so with the Republic, so technically, yeah, the king, he's on our fucking coins. Who gives a shit? No one uses coins anymore anyway, except for me. Yeah, just a figurehead. Yeah, I mean, he makes a bit of noise when he turns up because, you know, it's funny when these big events happen, suddenly everyone's a monarchist. So, like, when the Queen died, suddenly everyone's a monarchist. And I'm like, oh, we love the Queen. And then when the King comes to visit, they're like, oh, let's go and see the King. But then when they're off in Britain, no one gives a shit. People are funny. It's so weird. Anyway, so there's this argument over, should we break from that monarchy and I guess have our own president or something? Now, there's a lot of issues with that, because if we decided to do that and make a president the head of state, presumably a president would actually have power, whereas with the king as the head of state, like, he has the governor general who's his representative, but he kind of just signs documents and does formalities. It's not a big deal. And the prime minister is the one that people pay attention to. So, you know, we have the upper lower house. We sort of have a hybrid system of the British and American systems. I don't really know enough about, like, exactly. Anyway, never mind. Never mind the structure of our democracy. So you know, there's all that kind of stuff. The party's only once every few years. They don't come that often. Anyway, so with the Republic, like, if we were to do that as a country, there's a lot to think about. And, you know, we don't want a situation like America where one dude can cause so much trouble. You know, we don't need our, like, the good thing about Australian politics is, yeah, we have our Trump-like figures, like Pauline Hanson and Clive Palmer is the Trump that you bought off Wish. He wishes he was Trump. He wishes he was that successful. And he's just like, oh my God, come on. The monarchy, they just let us do our own thing. Because they have no power here. Anyway, so we don't want a situation like America has. I mean, it probably wouldn't get that bad here because we've got compulsory voting, so things never get as extreme. Because everyone has to vote, so the parties tend towards the center rather than the extremes that you have in America. And America loves extremes. I think even without that system, it just seems like a culture that's prone to it. Whereas Aussies are a bit more laid back. Like, if we didn't have compulsory voting and democracy sausage to lure us out, we probably wouldn't bother. Anyway, yeah, if we were to change to a republic, like, there are so many things that we'd have to think about, like, how do we want to just have basically the same system and just have, like, a symbolic president or whatever, or all this kind of stuff, and there's a lot to think about. And it was actually one of my former lecturers made a post, I think, on Facebook where he was talking about his reason for wanting a republic. Like, you know, people have different reasons, but his reason was purely emotional. It was like he just wants his son to grow up in a country where the head of state is Australian. And I'm like, but that's, like, what about all the practical issues? And he's only thinking about that emotional thing. And I'm like, I think I asked him for, like, actual reasons that weren't based in emotion, and he kind of just repeated the same thing. And so this is the thing about, I guess as a schizoid, I don't have that. Like, who cares if the head of state is Australian or not? Like, the system is working fine. It's better than systems in certain other places, so why mess with that? But his one was purely emotional. Oh, I want my son to grow up in a country with an Australian head of state. Just 'cause symbolism? Feelings? I don't know. So that's one thing where, I guess, being schizoid, like, I might have a more objective perspective. But on the other hand, we are an emotional species, and, like, you know, I think I said in my sensory therapy video, I might have said something about this, like, not everything is about logic. And, you know, it's like, yeah, Ben Shapiro comes along and is like, facts don't care about your feelings. But the opposite is true too. Feelings don't care about your facts. And we still have feelings as a species. So it's harder for me to understand people on that level and to take that into account when dealing with these issues. And so I'm more likely to dismiss things that would still affect people in that emotional way. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I can logic my way through it, but I probably miss things because I just don't give a shit. America is a great example of democracy's limits. America is also, like, you know, when people are anti-capitalist, especially in Australia, I'm pretty sure what they're against is American capitalism, because American capitalism has taken it to an extreme. You know, the fact that pharmaceutical companies over there can get away with so much, they can't get away with that shit here. Our regulation is stronger. Well, I trust our regulation more. And yeah, so America just loves extremes. What's happening in America is happening almost my brain, hang on. Almost exactly. Most of Europe with slight time delay, bit wacky at the moment. Yeah, I mean, Europe is influenced by similar things, but it's quite different. Like, you know, there's a lot more different cultures in Europe. Yeah. They call democracy freedoms, but it's just giving police more control and laying out more laws. I'm not entirely sure what you're trying to say there, but I think like democracy has what's the quote? Is it Churchill who's like, it's a shit system, but it's better than all the others. It's the shittest system we have, except for all the others. The thing about democracy, like democracy isn't just one thing. There are a lot of ways to do democracy. So it's like, as I was just saying with capitalism, there's more than one way to do capitalism. So it's kind of annoying when people are anti-capitalism without specifying specifically what forms of capitalism are you against. I think it's very easy. Like, the trouble with words is it's so easy for people to just lump everything under a particular label and not realize there are subcategories. This happens a lot in the disability community. Like, people just assume that disability is this one category, but like there's so much difference in it. I think I went on a rant about that too. But you've got your physically disabled people who have completely different challenges to your intellectually disabled people. But no, it's all lumped in as one thing because it's all technically disability, despite them being so different. I think people get a bit caught up in those labels and don't really think about the nuances. I think it's hard for people to think about the nuances. I mean, there is a reason that we tend towards that, because if we were trying to think about every tiny factor all the fucking time, we would never get anything done. It's like the reason that stereotypes exist, because, especially if you go way back into our evolutionary history, you had to make decisions quickly. And so you would rely on stereotypes to decide if a situation was safe or not. There's so many laws and rules in democracy. No, I think autocracy is something else. And you need laws and rules, like, so that we can agree on a way to live. If you don't have laws and rules, people are just going to do all kinds of shit and there's chaos. So I don't buy that. In terms of parties, all of the radical ones are gaining massively in votes in recent years and doesn't seem to be stopping. I think part of that is probably because of the state of chaos in the world at the moment. And so people are more inclined to grasp for a more extreme solution because things need to be shaken up is probably the feeling, because the status quo has broken down. Yeah. But Australia, fortunately, our two major parties, they do get a little bit crazy sometimes, but anytime one of them goes too far, we tend to swing the other way. That's the good thing about compulsory voting. Like, if you wanted to fix a lot of democracy, just get everyone to, like, you bring in compulsory voting. And, like, the thing is, if you don't want to vote, you can always just write Batman on your thing, or just not write anything at all. No one will know because it's secret. You just have to show up. But if you show up, chances are you'll vote. And then we don't end up with such extremes. Democracy sausage is the worst food except for all the rest of them. Yeah, I mean, democracy sausage, so you have the stick, which is if you don't vote, you get a fine. And then you have the sausage. If you come vote, we've got sausage. And sometimes cakes, and a bit of a party. The sausages aren't free, it tends to be a fundraiser, but we don't care. Someone's cooking sausage, here we come. Government's radical enough. Look, I can't really answer that, because which government? There are a lot of governments, and there's a lot of different things going on. Oh, hello. Just wanted to say hi, first time here. Roman Di Lorenzo. Hello, welcome to my madhouse. Enjoy your stay. I am tired and lightheaded, and mad simple as the Batman. And my channel is absolute chaos, so if you end up sticking around, watch out. I can't do the thing of having a niche. Hinsug. I don't know if that's how I pronounce it, sorry. Yeah, you're right, I met a schizoid and literally the presence of another person appeared to be almost virtually meaningless, so people may as well identify with you. Yeah, I'm sort of doing better socially, but in terms of how I feel, I'm still like, it's so hard. I think that's why it's hard for me to remember people's names and all that, because I just don't. actually care. Chaos channels are underrated in this day and age. Yeah, that is one thing about YouTube. Like, over the years, it's become so sanitized, and people have these teams who put things together, and now you've got AI channels, and it's like, alright, cool, boring. I don't know. The internet is a lot shitter than it used to be. I think we're well and truly past the golden age of the internet. I know I'm talking like I'm old, but I think it's true, because like, the internet was good before the profit motive really came in, and now you've got all these companies. Just want to say, saw your little awards program, have been checking out those bands, artists. Oh yeah. That's not my program, but I was asked to present that award for Femme Metal, and yeah, they do a lot for women in heavy music. People used to have a lot of variety in their content, but these days everyone tries to stick to the same formulaic stuff to please the algorithm gods. Yeah. The whole scripted video thing. I can't do it. I've tried anytime I script something, you can tell, because the way that I speak changes. Even when I'm trying to sound casual, I can't do it. But yeah, no, the internet, like, the trouble with the internet, and tech in general, fucking Microsoft. Really tempting me to learn Linux, except that I just can't be bothered at this point. But there may be a point where I just really get the shits with Microsoft. Excuse me, I just need a moment. Windows 11 is so bad. Yeah. The only reason I'm on Windows 11 is because Dell broke my old computer and had to give me a new one. Which I will eventually make a video on that, and I'll eventually make videos on everything. I have a project from 2009 that I haven't posted, so, bear with me. Oh dear. But yeah, Windows 11 24H2. If your computer asks you to update to that, don't do it. I'm reading about so many bugs, and it's like, really, Microsoft, where's the quality control anymore? And this obsessive push towards AI stuff. Like, we don't want that. Internet was better in the 90s and noughties generation. Yeah. And like, Facebook Meta, they keep breaking stuff. And so like, I sent a message to a friend on my desktop, and so it's message with a link in it and message. But they checked it on their phone, and the only thing that turned up was the link. And like, when they brought in the encryption thing, it keeps telling me, oh, this message has been updated. And then so all my messages are out of order, and the people I was just talking to have disappeared under a pile of, this message has just been updated, this chat has just been updated or whatever. I'm like, I don't care. Do they do any testing or like have any logic before they do this stuff? And they get rid of good features and then just break everything for no reason. And this isn't even going on about the censorship, although I gotta say, I'm glad that they don't retrospectively look through 15 years worth of my Facebook posts, because my early ones were pretty unhinged and I would have gotten banned so fast based on today's standards. Yeah, the internet is not fun like it used to be. There are some things that are okay, but and like, where are all my Flash games? Oh, I get it, security or whatever, but like, I like some of those games and I don't know where they live anymore, and I can't be bothered to find them. I was actually planning, like, I thought I might do a live stream of some gaming tonight, but I think that's the first time I've opened Steam on this machine. Have I done any gaming live streams in the past year? I don't think so, have I? So yeah, I had to update Steam and log in and then be like, shit, there's stuff on here that I haven't touched at all. Microsoft Pinball. Yeah, the internet used to have personality, now it's just bleak. Yep. I'm here, though, with my own kind of brand of chaotic personality. I guess that's my contribution. By the way, we've probably only got, like, 15 to 20 minutes before the floof comes out and demands some attention. So if anyone has a pressing question, I'm just giving you a heads up to start typing so that I can get to it before we have to end the stream. Because then after that, I need to get myself to bed. Today was a long day. I did let myself sleep in a bit, but then, yeah, the Art Society, and then I came back via the shops to buy my snacks, and, yeah, then also brushing Triton today, and, you know, a day later than I usually would, and it took a while, because there were some bits that I've been missing, and so trying to get the, you know, blown coat out of that. I think, like, I was expecting him to blow all his coat at once, and then I would brush him, and there'd be a whole second dog, because, like, I've seen in the breeder group, people brushing their dogs, and they have a whole second dog next to the dog. Like, a whole second dog's worth of fluff, and sometimes the fluff looks bigger than the original dog. But I haven't had that experience, and I thought, oh, maybe he just hasn't reached that stage. But I think it's actually because I brush him so often, and I do a decent job instead of just a half-assed job. So, yeah, I only get, like, about that much every time I brush him. Which is a lot, but it's not what I was expecting. Yeah, so why was I talking about that? Oh, because that's part of one. Yeah, it's kind of physically taxing. Like, I put the aircon on. Today it wasn't too hot, but I put the aircon on anyway because, you know, the motion generates a lot of heat. I don't know if other people have that experience, if it's just me. Like, am I overly sensitive to that? But I do, my body does seem to be overly sensitive to a lot of stuff, which is annoying. And maybe that's why I struggled wearing that wig. Would you say people have changed over the last 25 years? Less sociable in person, less proper conversations, always impatient and more individualistic? I would say it depends on where you live and the culture around you. Because, you know, when I'm out walking my dog, there are still people who will say good morning, and it always takes me by surprise because it's not something that occurs to me to say, but they tend to say it just as they're passing, so it's like, oh, hi, you know, and I don't even know who they are. I'll never see them again, or I probably will see them, but I just won't know that that's who they are. People recognize me, I don't recognize them. I think also the age of the person, you know, depends on how they're going to be sociable. And also keep in mind, I'm guessing most of you watching are internet types. Like, you are probably not as social as other people, because, like, I know people who are hardly online ever, and they would be plenty sociable. So, yeah, you know, biased sample, a lot of us are probably not sociable people to begin with. So, yeah. But, you know, people have definitely changed. People are always changing. Culture is always changing. So, yeah, just the specific ways, it depends. And yeah, there's a lot of things today that you couldn't do in the past, and then there's a lot of things that we don't do anymore. It's a complicated topic. I still say hi to people in the wild. Sometimes it's awkward. I've gotten good at it though. And you know, like, I have my devil cat when I go out. You know, I go out to the shops and people will occasionally, like, you know, point it out, and I'll actually stop and tell them, oh, it's got a shopping bag in it, and blah, 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 and they're like, oh, isn't that clever? And then I just move on. Yeah, I've gotten really good at socializing, but I still just don't, like, I can do the socializing, but I don't really feel like I connect. Stream Elements bot finally turned up! It only took most of the stream. Fade merch is here. Me shirts, if you want to buy them. I like getting my own music covers on shirts, and now I have heaps of them. And I wore this to the Art Society thing today, and it did get a comment, and I'm like, yeah, that's my music. That's me. And they're all, you know, whenever I gave them my business card, and they're like, oh, Destroyer, and I'm like, yep. I think with some of those looks, so I live in a conservative area, but the artist group, I mean, they're artist types, they're probably the rebels of the area, they just aren't as wild as I am, and so I think they kind of like some of the stuff, like I wore spikes on my wrists, and they like, oh, I really like that. I think they're kind of into it, they just don't have the nerve to wear those things themselves. Yeah, no. So then I come along with my Destroyer stuff, and they're like, oh, look at this. Yeah, I'm here to destroy your expectations or something, I don't know, and shake things up. turn up to the art gallery opening, you know, like I own the place. Performance art, living performance art. Why not? And yeah, I'm getting recognized more in the art scene, I guess, because I when I go to events, I do dress up. And then I'm also getting recognized because of my dog. I mean, they probably recognize him more, but they know me now. Have my old Chameleons t-shirts with the album covers on. Yeah, I've still got heaps of Tea Turtle shirts, but I actually prefer these ones better because they're more comfy. So yeah, I probably wear my own shirts more than the others. I mean, it depends on my mood and what's going on. I still feel a bit nauseated. I wonder how long this is going to go for. Maybe I need to do that Epley maneuver thing. Like, I'm not getting room spinning dizziness, but maybe I should just do it in case the little crystals in my ears have gotten out of whack again, which is a thing that can happen and throw you off. But I just can't. I'm running out of ideas other than rest and time. And if it keeps going, I might have to go and see the doctor. Or maybe see a different doctor to my usual, get a second opinion. Because I think my physical issues are affecting my mental health. Because it's hard to do stuff when my body is just always not great. Like, I don't have energy, I don't have the endurance that I used to, and so it's hard. Like, if I push myself too hard, I end up paying for it physically. And also the thing about mental health, it's not just mental, it affects you physically. And so, like, you know, if you get really stressed, it can seriously fuck up your body. And if I'm depressed, it can fuck up my body. And yeah, and I think also, so with that, going to that event where I wore the yellow wig, I think I mentioned at the end of the short that my mental health fell off a cliff. And I think part of the reason is, like, you know, I didn't stay for the gig, I only went for the dinner. And part of the reason I didn't stay for the gig is, like, having to watch other people do music, do the live gigs, it was really weighing me down because, you know, I've tried so hard for so long to find a band and get out there. And then, like, with my solo project, I don't know where to gig. I mean, I should just email venues. I haven't done that yet. So maybe I don't want to gig as much as I pretend I want to. Sometimes it's hard to know exactly what's going on in my own head. Like, what am I really doing here? But, like, with being in a band, yeah, it's been a shit journey because, like, projects will start and then just not go anywhere. And it's like, well, and sometimes I'll have waited for a band to do stuff and then nothing happens. And I'm like, in the meantime, I could have been doing other things, not wasting my time. So yeah, then watching other people who have managed to get the band together and have music that's listenable and all that, and they're on stage and I'm not. I think I got a bit down about that and a bit frustrated with it. And I kind of wonder, like, has all my sickness just been because I wore a wig that was a little too tight? Because it has that elastic thing right across there. Or is part of my sickness, has it been because I was feeling down about that? Now, I did eventually think, you know what? I haven't really enjoyed at least being in the audience side of the live scene for a long time. Like, there are some gigs I've been to, I actually started to feel more depressed having gone and having all that regret. And so I'm like, do I really want to be in the live scene? And also, there's, oh, I probably shouldn't. Some of the social interactions on Friday, like, there was one that seemed very positive. But I think there was some jealousy issues that I didn't pick up at the time because I'm schizoid. Let's just say I'm the last person who's going to try and steal your boyfriend. And so, you know, a promising couple of contacts. Probably could have been the only reason to go, would have made the whole thing worthwhile, and then I've been blocked by one of them who asked me to follow their band, so now I can't see their band page unless I'm logged in a different account. And it's like, why would you ask me to follow your page and then block me? Might be because the girl got the wrong idea. Anyway, so social shit. But yeah, that was a bit unpleasant, and having to deal with people's drama. And then also, like, there are things that I've heard about drama in the local scene that I just don't want to be a part of. Anyway, so I was doing a lot of thinking, like, do I really want to do all this live stuff? Or should I just work on music in my own time? I feel like the internet gives more of a shit about my music than the local scene does, because I'm just, like, I don't fit in anywhere because I'm me. And, you know, like, even I've been interviewed by an international group, you know, Femme Metal, they're international. They're not, like, a Sydney-based organisation giving a shit about my stuff. And then, you know, YouTube, Patreon, all these, like, online is where I live. Maybe that's where I should focus on putting my stuff instead of worrying about performing live. So then I let go of that, and it's probably a coincidence, but my headache was gone by the end of the day of thinking, fuck the live scene. Like, if a gig came up, I would take it, but I'm just, like, not worrying about it anymore. It's sort of at the bottom of my priorities, and I'm just like, is it coincidence that I started to get better when I let go of that? Or is it actually a thing that affected my health? I don't know. Do you follow any bands from 90s or noughties, like Sister of Mercy? I don't follow Sister of Mercy. I mean, there are probably some bands that I liked from a while back, but I don't really have a lot of loyalty. Like, you know, I might like certain songs or certain albums. But, like, for example, Disturbed, I like some of the earlier stuff. But then I think they started to take themselves a bit too seriously, and I'm less into them now. I haven't listened to any of their stuff in a while, actually. Famous now. Why am I famous? I don't know why I'm famous! And, British bands. If you want a British band, they're not active anymore, but I will grab you a link. I really like this album. Hang on. Why am I logged out of Bandcamp? I gotta log in and find my shit. I wonder if Google is gonna panic and log me out of my... There they are. Oh, I didn't mean to start playing Construct. Go and check this out. This entire album is hot shit. They've also got a YouTube video of Reflection, which I really like. If I find that somewhere... Oh, their website isn't a thing anymore. I see the false reflections all around. Lost, content, or regret to be found. So go and watch that one as well. Give me $10 million, Mad Simple, and I'll think about it. It's going to be 10 million US. None of this kangaroo money that I have to deal with here. British band with heartbreaking sentiment, Star Sailor. You're welcome. Do I want heartbreak? Also, we have just about run out of time. Hello. Oh, he knows. He knows. Yeah, check out my merch. So this is your last chance to leave a comment, but he's watching us. He's watching. Like, why are you on the screen, Mum? Hello. So cute. Ready. Oh no, here he comes. Oh, big stretch. Big stretch. Where is the thing? Oh, I've lost it. Hello! Hey you! Yes! Yeah. That's you on the screen! It is! You're a good boy. Ready? Alright, we gotta go. Rammstein. I'm not so into them because, I don't know if it's something about German or if it's something about their delivery. It just always sounds hilarious, and hilarious is not what I'm looking for in music. He's begging me to end the stream, so I've got to go. Yes! You gonna say goodbye to everyone? Yeah, hop up. And ready? There you go. Good boy. He said fuck off, guys. Anyway. Anyway, subscribe to my channel at your own risk if you're new here. Thanks for helping me stay awake long enough. I gotta go. How do I stop streaming? Okay, bye. Wait.